Ryan here at Acne Be Gone. I wanted to make a video today on social gatherings and acne. Man, they suck. I can't even begin to count how many times I missed out on some kind of gathering, hanging out with my friends, going out, doing stuff, just because I was literally like, yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere. My face is totally busted right now. I'm staying indoors. And I wanted to talk about this because I feel like this is something that a lot of people can vibe with, a lot of people can resonate with, and it's such an interesting topic. It's not something that very many people even like to discuss. And even when you are able to talk to someone else who has acne and you talk to them about it, it's just difficult to fully express how it is that you feel. And I wanted to bring up 3 points today on social gatherings and acne, and why is it that it was always so difficult for me to just go out and make friends. All this coming right up. Okay, so the first point that I have to bring up is many times if I had a huge bump or a zit, or I had just completely broken out, I just wouldn't even step outside of my door. There were times where I would spend like 3 or 4 days indoors and I wouldn't go outside for anything. I'd make sure I stock up on food, and there was absolutely no reason for me to go outside. Mostly this took place during my college years, and it was just really easy to not have to go anywhere. You can skip class. I didn't have a part-time job at the time. I was living off of financial aid and student loans. So I was like, bump it, I'm not going anywhere. And there were so many instances where I just didn't go out because I was just too afraid to do so. I mean, let's be real. I was super worried about what people were thinking about me. And to even backtrack a little bit, I was just so critical of myself, like sitting in the mirror or standing in the mirror, and I'm looking at myself and I'm just like, man, there's absolutely no way anyone would even want to talk to me. And these are the things that I used to say to myself. It was really, really bad. It was a really self-destructive type of mentality, and it really hindered me in my ability to just go out and meet people. Now, let's say that I did manage up the courage to be like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go out. Who cares? I have cabin fever. I've been stuck inside. Or let's just say that I only have like 1 or 2 bumps on my face and they're really not that big of a deal. It brings me up to my second point, and that is that when I was out, I would just be stuck in my head. There was no possible way for me to even enjoy the situation because the entire time that I was out, I was in my head. I was like, oh my God, what are they thinking? They probably think I'm gross, I'm nasty. It's really difficult to look at me. And these were all the things that I was just telling myself prior to me even going out and hanging out with people. So when I was out, the self-talk in my head was just like, okay, they're obviously thinking the exact same thing. In so many different instances, people don't really care. I'm sure there are a lot of instances where people do care, but for the most part, people don't care about you or your problems. Most people care about their own problems. But nevertheless, when you are constantly talking down to yourself, when you are constantly just belittling yourself, it's so difficult to get out of your head in those social situations. So even if I did manage the courage to step outside my house, while I was out, I was like really awkward. I was socially awkward. I really didn't talk. I really didn't engage much. I was just there, and I was barely even present because I was just in my head the whole time. Now, let's just say that I was able to finally get out of my head, even if it was like for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or anything like that. Brings me up to my third point, and that would be I would be very critical of what people were looking at. So just to kind of explain and elaborate on that particular point, it's, as I'm talking to a person, I'd be just engaging in just basic, simple conversation. And as I'm talking to them, I'm realizing that I'm not even listening to what they're saying. I'm totally preoccupied with their eyes. Where are their eyes headed? You know what I mean? Like, are they looking at my eyes? Are they looking at my cheeks, on my nose, at my forehead? What are they looking at? So now that I've finally gotten out of my head, now I've become this awkward eye stare where I'm just like staring at people's eyes and I couldn't take my eyes off them. So I was probably making people really uncomfortable. And all this was self-imposed. All this was manifested by myself. I would create that completely in my head, and then I would end up making it feel awkward in that situation. So it was always a very difficult time for me to just go out because I had acne. I felt like I had to address that situation first before I can begin to address other situations. It was such a huge mental weight that I carried around with me all the time. So if you are dealing with this type of problem, like if you're dealing with not being able to get out of the house, or if you do get out of the house, you're just stuck in your head, and if you do manage to get out of your head, you're just awkwardly and creepily staring at a person, you know, there's a couple of things that you kind of have to address first. And the first thing that you really have to address is your thought pattern, your self-talk. You know what I mean? A lot of times, like, I would say really, really bad things to myself. And even after I got rid of my acne, I ended up still saying those things to myself, because at the time I thought if I cleared up my acne, everything else will kind of just fall into place. But that's not exactly the case either. Acne is just like one obstacle you have to overcome. You know, after that, it's like you have another one, which could be social skills. And then after that, it's, you know, how to speak properly. And now it makes sense to think like, okay, I have to clear my skin. That's the first thing. And it's like, yes, I understand the inclination to want to do that, but I would have to say you need to address your acne coupled with your mentality. Because for me, I got rid of my acne, but I didn't fix my self-talk until later. So even though I finally had gotten rid of my acne, I wouldn't go out anyway. You know what I mean? Because my self-talk was still really, really negative. So I would definitely have to recommend that if you are trying to get rid of your acne, that is great. But one of the most important components to this entire thing is improving your self-talk, you know, because a lot of times with people who have really bad acne, you're just belittling yourself, you're putting yourself down, you're not saying nice things, you're not saying anything to uplift yourself, and you really need to do that as well, so that when you finally do clear up your skin, and believe me, this is definitely possible. I know a lot of people think that it's really difficult, it's impossible in some instances. I thought it was completely impossible and I was just helpless, but it is possible. But once you do clear up your skin, it's also accompanied with that courage to say, hey, you know, I am going to tackle this. I am going to tackle my lack of social skills because, hey, you know, this acne kind of kept me inside this whole time. I am going to tackle personal development in my life. I am going to try to be the best version of myself, because clearing your skin shouldn't be the ultimate goal. You should be striving to make yourself physically healthier. You should be striving to make yourself mentally healthier. You should be striving for feeling good within yourself, so that when you finally do go out into those social gatherings that, you know, you kind of fear and dread at the moment, you're going to be a lot more confident and you're going to have a lot more to contribute to the overall experience. Anyways, this is Brian here at Acne Be Gone. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want daily tips, articles that I definitely recommend that you should read regarding your acne, or if you just have any general questions for me, go ahead and check out my Facebook page, Acne Be Gone, and hit the like button so you can follow us. Lastly, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to check out our Facebook page at theabgoutlet.com. It's a one-stop shop for all your acne fighting needs. I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.